Anyone who says that can sell you a strategy, strategies expire, or strategies go out of fashion, they can come back again, but you want to become an entire market navigator.
Yeah.
You know, a holistic speculator that you can ride whatever tide that the market provides for you over time. And so that's where you're trying to develop all skill sets. Traders could survive 20 years ago on one or two strategies for a prolonged period. The markets move, shift, are significantly, I feel, more dynamic than they've ever been. But that presents a great opportunity to those ones who are willing to learn in a very adaptive and dynamic way.
Something that you've often emphasized, that trading requires a certain level of resilience, grit, and discipline, right? Why do you believe that traders should be prepared for the realities of making it in this career? And what mindset do they need before even entering this game?
Yeah, it's one of the most, it's a profession and a job and a professionalism and a pursuit that is so misunderstood, just simply because the nature of the marketing, how accessible trading is. You know, and I've used this metaphor before. You can't play a Rugby World Cup final or play in the finals of Wimbledon by just picking up a racket and saying and opening up an account and participating. Whereas in the financial markets, you can have no experience, open up a trading account and compete with some of our biggest traders.
Yeah.
And because of that, there's no gatekeeper. It's just you have some money, you open up an account. And you know that learning path of a trader, first it starts with your expectation, because it can be so skewed in the marketplace. And there's so many things that have to land correctly. And first is your expectation, and you get shocked with that, in the beginning. The first 3-6 months is a romantic period, right? You're super enthusiastic, vigorous to learn, and then it becomes reality. So when you start trading live, you start getting hit in the face, is then you start testing, well, what is your resilience capacity? Do you really love to learn from your losses? Some people shy from it, it depends what their childhood upbringing was. It depends if you went to an Ivy League school or Oxbridge, where you've been tapped on the shoulder, on the head, or well done, gold stars for getting these answers wrong or right. In a game that's a probabilistic game, where there's no such thing as wrong or right. You can be wrong but right, and you can be right but wrong. And understand that as long as you have something that works on average, but when people start suffering because they have an intellectual ego, they struggle to be wrong, then you start seeing the manifestation, or what starts kind of bringing up from their core identity to the surface of what it really means to them to be wrong. And is this game that do they really want to face themselves? And so that beginning part is you're first having to develop skills. You're first having to learn the skill sets. And there's nothing more sad than seeing someone who has all the resilience capacity, but is learning the wrong way, or learning the wrong method, or learning the wrong mental frameworks, because he could have all the right psychological capacity, but he's learning frameworks and systems that aren't going to aid him to get there. So that's one of the saddest parts of this game. You put all your effort, but you're not provided with the right foundation to elevate your potential talent and understanding of the market. So, and then also having the right training, as I just mentioned, the right team. You could end up in a team that's excelling in a certain environment, and you can actually start your career very well, because that team, that edge, matches that environment. But that mentality, that resilience, starting on the floor. I've had traders here in Cyprus, junior traders that started that, quitted after, 3 months, 6 months, expecting to make X amount of money in that time. But it's almost a disrespect to the traders who devote and put all their effort in and trying to perfect this art. We've had 2 junior traders just recently here in Cyprus who, we had 1 junior trader, probably made 100K in the last 6 weeks. But his journey up until that was he had to be questioned. He had to see other junior traders leave around him. He had to see other people, saying that, trading is crap. And so the other very important aspect is curiosity in the face of losses. You know, how curious one of our top traders, call him, you know, the profile engineer, he always invests in loss in the sense that when he loses on a trade, his curiosity spikes. Most people, when they lose, their curiosity diminishes. They become more insular. They ego rip themselves apart. They sadomasochise themselves, and they don't want to think about the loss. And so whereas that loss is a profound opportunity to compound your learning, if you allow it, if you listen to the lesson. And then there's that curiosity, and then there's the constant exposing yourself in discomfort. A lot of people don't like to be uncomfortable for prolonged periods. We can be uncomfortable for a day. The best traders revel in being uncomfortable, exposed, like, okay, I've been on a good run. The next time I see the same trade setup, am I going to be more uncomfortable? What are my tactics to be discomfort so I can take lessons if the trade goes wrong? Yeah. You know, so that curiosity, that discomfort, and then what happens is during that learning path of that learning journey, you know, and I always say you have to survive 2 years, because during those 2 years you're learning the skills, you're learning how you interface with the market, you're learning how you develop yourself during those 2 years in different sequences and environments of the market where you have a shortcoming, and also the facts of life. Yeah. Parents, other half, questioning why are you doing this game and what type of capacity do you have. And so it's incredibly tough. But if I were to, if I were to ask you, starting in this game, what does it take to be, Djokovic or a professional football player or professional tennis player? It takes a lot of pain. Yeah. It takes a lot of questioning and doubts. And if you can overcome that and you don't have a plan B.
On that same note, there's a common expectation of achieving wild riches in trading, right? Mainly in part due to, as we've mentioned in many of the videos, that toxic environment of, the YouTube gurus. We actually did a video on that recently. You can click that in the corner on the top right. And you are always highlighting the importance of understanding the reality behind this. Okay. And can you elaborate on what traders should really and truly expect in the feeling that accompanies the pursuit of success in this field?
Yeah, two words in the beginning is that what type of, when you come into a trading environment or a trading community that has successful traders, that's breeded successful traders, is one of the core elements. And there's such a miss. When perhaps you look in the social media space, certain advertising of that space, and for wrong or for rightly, sometimes it gets people into this game, which is great. People getting on the buzz of crypto has brought a lot of traders into the futures markets, and but it is a professional pursuit. And so one of the ultimate and important, measures when you start this game is you want to, when you're in the right setup and in the right environment, if you're in that right environment, one of the elements is learning velocity. Mm-hmm. Like, what is your learning velocity in the environment that you're developing? Are you going to be pigeonholed, a siloed trader? And your learning velocity is a function of your ability to listen to your periphery. Observe, what I call about, who are the top in those edge segments, and Axia, especially in our, 6-week career and our 6-month, coaching blueprint program, we talk about, 4 really core skill sets. You can almost elaborate that out to 6 when you talk about risk and sizing management and, your learning systems. And how do you digest and listen from your environment? Because a lot of people think they listen, but they don't go and reflect after what they've learned from a senior trader. They don't go and strip it down, reverse engineer all the mechanics that trader was speaking about. So having that learning velocity at the beginning of your career, having that acute way to listen to those who have come before you, who have been, successful. And so that learning framework is so important.